We got the victim card in play. We got the victim card in play. The internet warriors, they love playing the victim card. Hang on for a second. I gotta let this live stream go because it doesn't look live. It's not live. All right, let me let this populate because you know YouTube love just messing with my feeds, messing with my live stream. So I gotta let this go and just keep it moving. So I'll see if people come in. What's going on, everybody? You know, the old folks had a saying. They said, what was that old saying? It says, don't let your mouth write checks that your ass can't cash or your ass can't pay. Something along that line. And I'm telling you, they condition these young people not to listen to the older folks. But there's so much wisdom when you listen to your elders, especially the ones that have a lot of wisdom. If you have an elder in your life that is full of wisdom, you should count yourself as being very privileged and fortunate, right? Because they're going to give you the tools that you need, which is the master common sense to be able to operate in this life with just the fullest sensibility that you possibly can. And I apologize, my eyes seem to react to blue light, so they're going to start wailing for a little while and then it'll stop. All right, but you know, I was looking at my feeds. I've been busy all day taking care of sick kids and trying to sanitize my house in the process. And you know, I caught my feeds and people are still talking about Andrew Schultz. Obviously, they're demonizing him as they should for the comments that he feels like he is has a green light to make in the name of comedy. And I knew that Andrew Schultz was going to draft Charlemagne and some black person because these people need black people to co-sign that they're not racist. And I said this in my video. But you know, people come on to my channel. What's going on, Mark Andrews? I see you. And they're like, you're a racist. And I said, no, I'm not a racist, right? I can't stand certain people indiscriminately, no matter what color they are, right? Because I don't like ignorant, wicked people, right? No matter what color they are. And I don't like it when they fix their lips to say ignorant things and disrespect crafts like hip hop and comedy, right? And feel like they have a green light to say certain shit. And again, I blame Black America because we are too forgiving and we are too welcoming. We just let any old body that claim that they like us, you know, to come to the cookout, right? Without real vetting, right? And then when you invite these people to the cookout, you got to make sure that at no point at the cookout do they get mad familiar, right? Too familiar, that they understand how to stay in their cultural lane while they are immersing in yours, right? And see, Black people, we have done a poor job of doing this when we have allowed individuals into our culture. And I would say that the individuals that we have allowed into our culture has in various ways hijacked the culture. They've had enough money to do that, buy out a number of our people to do that, and they have defiled our culture with their deviancy. So, as we are trying to reclaim Black culture and our identities in this nation, I do encourage, you know, some of our Blackface representatives to mind their tone and mind their company, you know, when they are inviting some of these non-Black people into the fold, because that has been the ongoing problem, being too trusting for the coin. So, with that being said, I blame Charlemagne the God for Andrew Schultz being in the culture. And of course, Andrew Schultz ran to Charlemagne, right, when he was having problems in the culture, because he recently ran his mouth off and talked about butt breaking one of our brothers. And Black people didn't take too kindly to that. And people like Andrew Schultz, they don't ever learn because they should have saw how black people rallied around Kyrie. They tried to get that Kyrie thing one and done real quick. Let's just get a resolution. And Kyrie still disappointed us to so many degrees. But we get it, brother. You trying to just feed your family and get them coins. We get it. But I'm always happy to see black people coming together to rally against anything that is a perceived threat against our culture, just like any other group of people in this nation. I love to see it. I really love to see it. But I also love when the reasonable white folks get on the line. And like I said, I like reasonable people. And there are a number of white individuals that I like because they are reasonable. They're not riddled with all that Satanism and demonism, and they can be practical. They can be pragmatic. You can actually have a civil conversation with these types of folks. And I do believe that this guy is probably one of those people because I saw another white guy talk about I got a black girlfriend and black women in the pregnancy way. It's like if you don't shut your ass up, you just spouting off some Democratic talking points about some shit. But this guy, I really like this white guy perspective because he's coming from a real man point of view. This is a real white man, not no Democratic shill and none of that bullshit. Just a real man speaking cold facts. So let's listen to this brother. He's a brother in my eyes because he's speaking sensibly.
Andrew Schultz. I feel like not enough people are talking about the buck breaking comments. For those of you that don't know, buck breaking is what Masters.
First of all, I want to just give him props that he actually took the time to either do his research or he's maybe been around enough black people to kind of know this history. And so as opposed to him saying that what Andrew Schultz is saying is threatening to black women and black women pregnancy rates, he's actually talking about why it's really offensive to black people, his comments about Kendrick.
Used to do to the people that they owned to break them psychologically, mentally, physically, as many ways as they could. I have to be careful with the language, but they used to take them and publicly essay them to literally break them, because that's just what they used to do. So to bridge the gap, Kendrick Lamar said, "Don't let no white comedian talk about no black woman, that's law." Valid, valid, valid. Because you were making comments and there were two people who were sitting next to you on the podcast who just laughed and let it ride.
And I want to just say for the record too, when you really go back and look at that dialogue between Andrew Schultz and Schultz and Giggles, those guys were not talking bad about black women. They were actually saying that, hey, black women, they change you. You're going to get a little bit more style. You know, they up your D game. You know what I mean? These guys were not talking bad about black women. It was Andrew Schultz who had to introduce the stereotypes. And again, I would love for people to understand the difference between a joke and somebody regurgitating stereotypes, perpetuated stereotypes. That dude is not joking. And I'm going to get into that later because even Dave Chappelle has called this dude out. He's an internet comic at best. And when you get people who aren't really true comedians, they're not really speaking organically from life or experience, right? They will always suck. And to Cat Williams' point, he was saying that Cat Williams, right, being the pimp, right, he wrote those lines. The reason why Money Mike was so funny was because he wrote the lines. He was coming from organic experiences. He was channeling people and experiences that he knew. And that's why that whole character was so organically funny. And it was timeless. It was classic because it came from his experience. Cat Williams is not some I'm speaking off of stereotypes comedian. He is an organically good comedian. And he will always have his flowers for being raw and organic because that is what real artists are. Some of these internet propped up people that they're disguising as comics, this isn't comedy. Andrew Schultz is not comedy. He is a bigot who has been able to get a green light into some idea of a comedy space, a pseudo intellectual, if you will, if that, right? And he's just saying shit. And people think that some of the shit that he's saying, just because he's double talking demons, can speak on a valid point. doesn't mean that they're still not coming from an ill intent overall, right? There's a lot of people speaking truths in the internet space. There's a lot of people saying valid points in the internet space, but what is their overall intent? What is their overall thing here? So, I mean, people can give Andrew Schultz the flowers they want. Obviously, that is his privilege, right? To be overpropped, just like Drake was overpropped. And let's just keep it real. Drake is not the artist that he has been propped up to be. There are plenty of artists that have been way better than Drake, but because they don't have the right other side, right, they're not going to be propped like Drake. Drake has half white privilege that is going away. Obviously, they treating him like the other side. Now Drake is getting the Negro treatment right now because he offended the other side. But what you saying, white
They were
dude?
uncomfortable, but they let it ride. So from there, you heard his song, and then
See, I would
publicly
have
decided to
drinks with
play it
this
back on the
dude. These are the type
podcast,
of white folks I
and then
right
tell
rock
the world that you could, if you wanted to, do that to him physically. Very weird response, anyways, but it's rooted in that. Just so you know, he wasn't even talking to you. He literally said, "Don't let no white comedian." He was talking to the other two men.
with. You know, and again, this is a sensible white man checking Andrew Schultz. Okay, this is a sensible white man checking Andrew Schultz with logic, with reason, right? Because most comedians, they're just, even if you think you can just talk off the top of your head, you still have to be able to make sense of what you're saying. And what Andrew Schultz said about Kendrick Lamar to try to publicly emasculate him was just disgusting and grotesque. And I knew that Andrew Schultz, because them folks, his kind, are always just saying shit, and then they'll turn around and play the victim when they're getting too much heat. So apparently somebody paid some bots to go and threaten Andrew Schultz so that he can start playing the victim card, right? Because this is basically what Andrew Schultz is doing now. He didn't grab Charlemagne and some black chick, right? And they're going to co-sign that he's not a racist. He's not a bigot, guys. Look, Charlemagne is sitting here in his phone, right? Just he's I'm just gonna be a prop, right? Because Charlemagne ain't trying to say too much right now. He can't really say too much. All he can do is co-sign Andrew Schultz's feelings and try to validate the victimhood or whatever, so that he can still keep his contingencies, right? Because Charlemagne don't know what the hell to do right now because black folks aren't really happy with that particular token. But let's listen to the victim card from Andrew Schultz.
Kendrick stands. I've been posting shit
Now,
like,
mind you, Andrew Schultz was talking big talk, right? Just, I'm that guy to say this shit. I got a green light to say this shit about Kendrick Lamar. Now, fast forward, right? The tone is totally different. Now you have turned into Karen Schultz.
telling me they're gonna take out my family on like pictures of my child, my daughter.
God.
You surprised by this? This is the nature of the game.
Yeah, social media.
Yeah, it's social media. It's like, but he says that line.
Look at
He
all
says
the
that
black.
line.
You got
His
the black
parent-
people.
some of his fans. The majority of his fans don't do anything. The majority of his fans are just like they like hip hop.
The
They
paid
think he's a
black
great musician.
people.
But the most extreme ones, on a picture of my 8-month baby, and you better take security everywhere because I'm coming for your whole family. And this is like multiple.
Crazy.
So to me, that person, I don't blame Kendrick. We can't control what our fans do.
This dude, let me tell you, this is what these people do. To deflect the heat off of themselves, they will literally go and play victim. They're pulling pictures of my baby, and this is just blah, blah, blah. It's like, you need to learn to shut the hell up, Andrew Schultz. And you need to understand that when you at the cookout just talking shit, right? Sometimes that shit can come back at you. Now, I'm not saying that it's right for anybody to be posting his baby and threatening his family, but personally, I don't think anybody's really doing that. I'm pretty sure they put a bot on that just so he can have a receipt. Look, somebody did that, right? It's probably a paid bot, right? We need to victimize Andrew. His career's not going well. The black people are mad at him. Pull a bot of his baby and say he's been threatened so he can play the Karen card. I knew this shit was happening. The writing was on the wall with this shit right away. I think I even said it in one of my recent videos about this. He's probably going to pull Charlemagne, and say, "Oh, I'm not racist. Look, this is what Charlemagne is for. He's the token, so that anytime some racist white person say something to offend black people, they could just get Charlemagne to bring his little milk dud looking ass over and say, "Well, yeah, yeah, I'm sitting here. He's obviously not racist, right?" It's the mindset that some of these people walk around. I got black friends. I got black friends. Let you and one of those black friends get into an argument. I bet you be calling them a nigga. All right. So anyway, some of these people are not your friends. They're not. Malcolm X have warned us about these people several times. And it was interesting because I was looking at Hip Hop Uncensored, and they're talking about, I haven't seen anything that Charlemagne said about this, not on the Breakfast Club, no Donkey of the Day. See, Charlemagne can't give Andrew Schultz Donkey of the Day, right? Because that's not what buck dancers like him are supposed to be doing, right? And whose child and what family, what bloodlines do Andrew Schultz come from, right? Because it's like there's no way that these people are just propping this thing to us, right? If he ain't coming from somebody's elite circle. All right, let me get into my comments. What's up, Ghetto Planet? I see you. All right, what's going on? I see you, chat. I see you. Is it Fatty Make Life? I don't know what it is, but what's up? Big ups to you in the chat, sister. I need help. My ghost is bad. Compulsion, please help me. Your ghost will be. I don't have any ghosts attached to me. But you pray to the God of Abraham, Yahuwah, in the name of Messiah, Yahusha, and hopefully they will deliver you. Maybe they will send a messenger to heal you from those ghosts that you were haunted with. And one thing is, you better stop practicing divinations. Usually, if you have unclean spirits around you in your house, you have brought something in your house. You have brought something in your house, you have practiced something, and that's probably why they're attaching to you. So clean up your house. Let us cleanse ourselves of every defilement of the flesh and spirit. Amen. All right, everyone. Okay, this person is obviously going through something. Please help everyone. Honey, I just gave you what you need to do, all right? That's what you need to do. You need to be praying to the good spirits and stop tapping into them bad ones. You said red wave, praise the Lord. We'll see. We'll see. People want to start seeing the drastic changes in the economy. So don't get too excited about anything until you start feeling the effects of the new administration, right? Because they're all politicians at the end of the day. But getting back to Andrew Schultz, I like that this white guy is sensible enough to call out the obvious. And again, Andrew Schultz is responding like a Karen because he has a lot of heat on him right now, right? He done pissed off black people. And at first he's like, I don't think that you can't just, one group is protecting. It's not about protecting any set of group. Let me just tell you, if people had the green light to go in on other groups like the Asians, the Jews, and all these other people, right? The way that they have the green light to go on black people, there would be, a lot of people with their feelings hurt, right? A lot of people would be offended, especially if it was black people going in, because we don't hold back. We don't hold back at all. And we are wordsmiths by nature, many of us. So, but we don't even think to do that, right? These people be going in on black people in the name of comedy and all that other shit, right? And they have huge platforms so that their vitriol in the guise of comedy is being broadcast to large audiences because they have that privilege, and access to money, right? And they're able to say that shit. So Andrew Schultz, is now playing the victim card. Probably got a bot to put some little threat out there so that now he can act like a victim because he can't, basically the kitchen is too hot.
But that person, I go, you're talking about my kid, man. Like, I have to screenshot you, know who you are.
I should call my daughter in here to play her violin.
You can't play with it.
My 10-year-old plays the violin.
No, I want you. 100%. What's up? Screenshot you, know who you are, and if I ever see you, you can't play with it.
Yeah,
It's
can't play with it. No, I'm with you.
Look. So Charlemagne is there for the cope session. He's like, Andrew probably called Charlemagne up, like, look, black people are mad at me right now. I need you on the show, right? And, I'm going to victimize myself, and you're going to be here for this cope session. That's basically what Andrew Schultz did. But it's like, again, I'm not, people think that I'm a hater, but, Dave Chappelle said some interesting things about Andrew Schultz. And again, I feel like the fact that Andrew Schultz is anywhere near black culture is Charlemagne's fault. I don't really feel like Charlemagne is a credible voice or image for black people or the culture at all. He is for a culture that is not black. He is empowered by a culture that is not black, and his job is to be a black face to speak on behalf of black people and issues, right? There's so many black faces that supposedly have credibilities. And it's interesting because Charlemagne would switch positions, right? And he'll say something that's the Republican friendly. And then the idiot Republican bloggers will be like, oh, is Charlemagne getting mad because Charlemagne said something against the Democrats? And it's just like, these are double talking demons, you idiots. It's like these. That's a whole other thing. But this is what Dave Chappelle said about people like Andrew Schultz. And when I say he's not fucking comedy, I mean it. He's not fucking comedy. He's not comedy. He is an obnoxious man who has become an internet comedian, if that, but he's not a comedian. He's not an organic comedian, right? He's an idiot just saying shit. And then people who are ignorant, they think the obnoxious shit that he's saying is actually comedy because they're fucking obnoxious people. They don't know real comedy from this vitriol that this idiot is spitting.
In the 90s, you go to the comedian's parking lot at the Comedy Store. That shit used to be filled with shitty cars.
Yeah.
And now you'll see a guy you never even heard of get into the hottest whip.
Yep.
It's that now.
Yeah.
I don't know. These guys look like straight up contest winners. Like, who the is this guy? But they're killing it.
Internet money.
Right.
That's right. They're like, and I agree. It's like they're coming off as contest winners. That's what Andrew Schultz is. He is a contest winner or a privileged person at best, not a comedian. And he's in the space of comedians. These people always want to hijack spaces with their Fruity Loop faces, right? We shouldn't have to see Andrew Schultz no more than we should have to see Amy Schumer. Right? But isn't Amy Schumer connected with Chuck Schumer? So we always gonna have to endure these non-funny ass people with privilege. All right, let's go to my chat here. Thank you, Ghetto Planet, for getting rid of our little demonized person. She just sitting up there talking about the demons and the devil. Stop inviting them to your house. Now everyone cares about respect of women when WAP was the #1 song in America. What the hell are you talking about, James? Like, what the hell are you even talking about? We're not even talking about respect of women. You need to stay on code. Like, seriously. And I didn't support WAP. It was a banging hit in America because obviously, let's look at the Drake lawsuit right now. Right? Drake is saying that streams are manipulated, right, to overprop artists. Right? So if you kind of understand what you're talking about, right? WAP was the #1 song in America because they were propping a whore to promote whore culture during that time. And that was a prime time during the pandemic to promote horror culture when everybody's at home. So I'm not sure what you're talking about, James, but we're not talking about respect of women. But you really should respect women. You really should. Nobody should have to tell you that. And if you weren't raised to, we feel bad for you and society that you exist in it. All right. Amen. Jesus is amazing. Jesus is amazing. No, what is the topic we're talking about? There was a white guy, and I have to say it by race, right? Because Like I said, there are sensible people of all colors, and people come over here calling me racist, but it's like I'm not racist. I give flowers to the sensible people of all colors, and I like the fact that this guy came out. And sometimes, when you're talking about battling racism, it really takes the sensible white people to get on the mic and just outright dry check some of their people or the people that look like them, right? So that more people can see, what? Be specific when you're talking about racism, right? Because I don't believe that people should be blanketing all white people as racist and this and that, because a lot of them don't rock like that. But we always got to isolate the sensible ones. And to me, this guy, like if he said, well, I'm not a racist guy, I would believe him just by how he's talking, how he's articulating.
Andrew Schultz. I feel like not enough people are talking about the buck breaking comments. For those of you that don't know, buck breaking is what masters used to do to the people that they owned to break them psychologically, mentally, physically, as many ways as they could. I have to be careful with the language, but they used to take them and publicly SA them to literally break them, because that's just what they used to do. So to bridge the gap, Kendrick Lamar said, "Don't let no white comedian talk about no black woman, that's law." Valid, valid, valid. Because you were making comments and there were two people who...
And see, and that's another thing. When you think about that line from Kendrick is a black man. And, my whole thing is we talk about men protecting women, protecting their women, if you're somebody who's culturally immersed, right? And apparently Andrew Schultz had a problem with a black man getting on the mic and telling his men, don't let other men that are not us disrespect our women, right? And so Andrew Schultz internalized that to himself, and it could apply to him. The lines definitely apply to him, but he internalized those bars, to himself enough to say that I would, sexually assault you. You know what I mean? This is, again, educated white man versus idiot white man that y'all want to say is a comedian.
They were uncomfortable, but they let it ride. So from there, you heard his song and then publicly decided to play it back on the podcast and then tell the world that you could, if you wanted to, do that to him physically. Very weird response anyways, but it's rooted in that.
Let's just keep it a buck. People like Andrew Schultz's people, they would swear up and down white supremacy, doesn't exist, and racism doesn't exist. But they know exactly how to trigger black people or to say some racist ass shit to get the black community going, and be offended. They specialize in offending black people like Andrew Schultz, and then they want to play victim. When black people get on the business. So that's all I got. I thought it was very interesting. It was very interesting to me. The responses. I am very proud of so many people who are stepping up, because we don't have to tolerate these deviants. I do think that we need to get back to a point in society where people do mind their tone, mind their words. You know what I mean? You keep hearing the same people talking about words matter. They be the same people who act like words don't matter and just be saying shit. And free speech doesn't mean that you don't have to calculate what you're saying. And if you don't want to calculate what you're saying, then you're going to get all the smoke. You're going to get all the smoke for what you have said. And that's just how it works. Don't let your mouth write checks that your ass can't pay. And that is a golden rule. The old folks used to tell it to us all the time. Don't let your mouth write checks that your ass can't pay. And if you just, follow these golden rules, right? Mind your business, respect other people's space, don't let your mouth write checks that your ass can't pay, you're going to be all right in society. You're going to have less problems than some of these folks out here that don't know how to do that, right? And that's just what it is. You said free speech. And what you said, Second Amendment, ain't no Second Amendment. Don't let your mouth write checks that your ass can't pay. Because if you one of those people out here talking shit, and you think just because you got the Second Amendment right to carry firearm, and that when you can't match wits with somebody that you're talking shits with, that you can just pull your gun out, you're a weak ass person, and you're the person that they should be banning to have guns. You're the type of person that should be banned from having guns. Anybody on the internet talking about if somebody say something wrong to them or whatever, whoop-de-whoop or whatever, I'm not going to argue. Nope, you don't need a gun. Anybody that's saying that, those are the people that need their guns taken away because you truly are a threat to society. My whole thing is guns are for imminent threats. Right? So if you know that there's somebody who have equal force, right? You don't know, you have to defend yourself. But somebody just running off at their mouth, talking, calling you a bitch ass, this, that, blah, 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 or whatever like that, that's not what the Second Amendment is for. Don't even disrespect the Second Amendment. Don't even disrespect the Second Amendment. Some of you are out here talking about we need our Second Amendment rights, and some of y'all out here talking like you don't need your Second Amendment rights. You particularly. You don't remember me from OnlyFans. You must be talking about your mama and your sister, because I've never been on no OnlyFans. Frederick, don't conflate me with your ugly ass mama. White comedians can totally talk about black women. What do you mean they can totally talk about black women? In what context, right? Because to me, there's comedy and then there's just talking shit, Richard. See, some of you white people want to hear other white people say demeaning things that don't even sound comedy. They're just funny to your ignorant ass, right? Because y'all don't know comedy. All you know is insulting people with obnoxious rhetoric. And somehow some of you people have concluded that that's funny, right? But like if we actually took you, Richard, for example, lined you up in front of everybody and just had them roast your ass, guarantee you'd be offended by something that somebody said, because we would be going in with the jugular, not comedy. We just be going in roasting and insulting you, Richard, and you'd be like, well, that wasn't comedy. I just felt insulted the whole time, right? Because people like you, Richard, think that going around insulting people is comedy because you're an obnoxious loser. So we get why you think a white man can say whatever he want to say about black women, because you're probably ugly. And your best way of coping with life is just hearing white men talk about black women like we're dogs. So we see that. We see you. I know you. Who is you talking about? I find Andrew to be funny. If you find obnoxious people funny, then you go ahead and think that he's funny. But I don't find obnoxious people funny, so I don't think he's funny. And I agree with Dave Chappelle. He's not funny, right? Andrew Schultz, let's talk about how he was coping when Dave Chappelle was like, bro, you ain't funny. Joe Rogan got on Dave Chappelle got on Joe Rogan just to say it again. You're not fucking funny.
It is what it is. Maybe Chappelle will see it one day. Maybe he'll change his tune. And if he doesn't, that's fine too. But I think the takeaway from this is I'm not going to get a Chappelle chain anytime soon. and you know what? I can live with that. I think I'll be okay. And if Dave wants to rethink that, then, we can have that.
And Dave doesn't have to rethink, Andrew Schultz being phony, because only the obnoxious white people think that Andrew Schultz is funny. Good job, Jay Chappelle. You put us up on game. Charlemagne is ashamed for letting that thing into our culture. Let's see. Who are you talking to? Who's about her? And why y'all so obsessed with butts? Like, what? Why are y'all so obsessed with just homosexuality and butts? Right? Like, that's just like y'all first thing. It's like, what in the Baal Moloch worship sodomites? Sodomites. You people are sodomites. Just weird ass. And this is why Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. Thank God. I can't wait to see some of y'all have the same fate. Comedy isn't for everybody. Comedy depends on what you consider comedy. I like good comics. I like comics that can speak from experience, not comics that just come around saying shit because they can. Right? Obnoxious people that think that they're funny. Comedy is subjective. Comedy is definitely subjective, and everybody got their favorite type of comic. I think some of the people who conflate obnoxious people with comics is it's not comedy. They're just obnoxious. We need to have like a separation between the obnoxious people who think they're doing funny shit and the real comedians. I really feel like we should not disrespect the craft of comedy with some of these folks because they're not comedians. They don't even, like I said, Cat Williams is a comedian. Comedians, any artist is going to create based off of experience, not stereotypes and obnoxious ideas about groups or other people. So again, if Andrew Schultz is your type of comedy, we're not the same because that's not comedy. That is not comedy. Comedy has real life punchlines. This dude is just saying shit to insult groups of people because he feel like he can. And only some ignorant, obnoxious person would agree with that. He said again, if you're threatening, if you threaten somebody with SA, even as a joke, you ask for the smoke. Absolutely. And then it's funny because people be like, I think Andrew Schultz is funny. And then you're like, you think it's funny that this grown ass man has just got on a platform and joked about sexually assaulting another man, a grown ass man. No matter how tall Kendrick Lamar is, he's still a grown ass man. And this is where this dude is going to. And like I said, he's not talking about nuck if you buck. If I saw Kendrick, I'd give him the business because, it's just physics. If he said that, no, you went to the way extreme, the buck breaking, right? The essay, because people like Andrew Schultz, his people want black men to be kind of fruity anyways, right? Because they feel weakened by black men. They feel weakened. That's why he sits next to Charlemagne the God, right? And I don't know how straight Charlemagne really is. I really don't know how straight Charlemagne really is. So his music yesterday, you were telling everyone you didn't agree with you that we just don't get it. I don't understand what you're talking about. Can you please stay on code, sir? What are we talking about? And I did not say that at all. You said that, and I literally corrected you yesterday, and here you come up in here saying the same shit. I literally said, if Andrew Schultz is your kind of comedy, right? If that's a conditional word, right? I am saying if that is your kind of comedy, we're not the same, which we're not because he's not my kind of comedy. So where's the disconnect from the statement? Please take a rhetoric and logic class because people, your comprehension, some of you, your comprehension levels are low. And some of you are coming up and shit just not trying to listen to comprehend. You're listening to just say shit. And I'm going to respond to people like you because you're not following the course. And we don't do that over here. You said Andrew Schultz lived rent-free in my mind. Well, here's the thing. I literally said in the introduction of this blog that I have been following the conversations, the backlash of his ignorant statement. And I just find it interesting what people are saying about that. So if he's living rent-free in my mind right now, then he's living rent-free in everybody on the internet's mind right now who are still talking about the fact that this man joked about sexually assaulting another man because he internalized a bar in the man's song that really did not mention him. Could have alluded to him, but Andrew Schultz didn't have to say shit. Because he didn't even mention the man by name. He just said, don't let a white comedian talk about black women. That's law. And Andrew Schultz, trying to get on the Kendrick Lamar clout train, just decided to say some dumbass shit to be on there. So he asked for his name to be in people's mouths. And now it is granted to him that his name is in people's mouths. And they giving him all the smoke that he invited. because he ran off at his mouth and said some foul shit. So, let's just keep it a buck here. Some of y'all act like y'all can't understand what the fuck is going on. And it's just like, this is not the channel for you. I keep saying that. Yeah, what's going on, Brian? No, you know what? I caught this guy checking Andrew Schultz, and I thought that it was like, you can hear black people talk about having backlash about something that was said about black people all day. But when white people get on the mic and start spitting like, this shit is weird, and why are you saying this? And do you even understand the context of what you're saying? To me, that's very powerful. And so, like I was saying, Brian, I played a video of this white guy breaking it down why what Andrew Schultz said about Kendrick Lamar, why it was just very distasteful, because obviously there's a history of buck breaking, which is what he was talking about. And it was, to me, again, you can hear black people lament about stuff all day, but when the white people get on the mic and say, nah, that's not right, that is very powerful. And I think that we should give those white people their flowers, because they're standing up against the ignorance, of their own people. And I like the fact that this dude got on the mic and he checked, Andrew Schultz the way he did, and gave him a breakdown of why what he said was so disrespectful and distasteful, beyond the fact that it was really like, you're revealing to people that, you would think about subduing another man sexually. And you're a married man talking about your baby, your newborn baby, right? But you on the TV talking about that you would rape another man, Andrew Schultz, right? And that's basically what Andrew Schultz is doing right now, Brian, is he's playing the Karen card, right? He was talking all that big talk. Oh, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. Woo, 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 woo. I would do this to Kendra, I would do that. Now that he's getting heat, now all of a sudden, Andrew Schultz is a victim. And he done found some bot or something to like, okay, post a picture of my child and give me a death threat because this is overwhelming for me, right? Andrew Schultz is a joke. He's a fucking joke. And he is the joke. He's not a comedian. He's the joke. Andrew Schultz is not a comedian. He is the joke. All right. Yes, I'm comedian police is definitely in the house, and I'm sorry, he ain't it. He ain't it. He's not a comedian. I'm going to agree with Dave Chappelle. Andrew Schultz is not a comedian. He's not funny. He's obnoxious. And if you like Andrew Schultz, then that's you. You like obnoxious people, in my opinion. They ain't got nothing to do with me. Yeah, I do. You know what? Seafood gumbo. All those spices in the seafood gumbo, all that stuffiness got me together. And I drank some tea. I've been on hot liquids all day. So, yeah, I feel a lot better. Disrespect will get you quietly banned in the chat. Don't even quietly ban them. Ghetto, hurt their feelings, especially if they got a profile picture. Hurt their feelings, right? We don't care about these people and their feelings. These are probably they little supremacist people coming in, their little bots, probably the same bots that sent Andrew Schultz a death threat so he can pull Charlemagne on his show, right? So he can get his black people cred. Like, look, black people, I got Charlemagne, and he's helping me cope with this fact that I'm attacked. It's like, don't let your mouth write checks your ass can't pay. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. All right. Anyways, you guys, I love the Andrew Schultz people. I'm telling you, these people, they're so demonic, right? You keep on trolling, internet keyboard warrior, right? Because again, people don't play. People do not play. People do not play. And I'm not saying that people should, threaten other people and do all kinds of things, and who knows if this man is really getting threats or not. These people are, like I said, they always play the victim, and I kind of felt like Andrew Schultz was going to play the victim, and here he is playing the victim. I'm
with you, 100%.
He had to grab, and then, he didn't just grab Charlemagne. He grabbed a black girl with braids. He was like, I need two niggas on the show today. Black people are mad at me. I need two of them. Two of them. I need Charlemagne and a black woman, right? So that I look black people friendly at the cookout again, right? So bring them on.
Stands. I've been posting shit like telling me they're gonna take out my family on like pictures of my child, my daughter.
God.
You surprised? But this is the nature of the game.
Yeah, social media.
Yeah, social media. It's like, but he says that line. He says that line. His parent, his friend, some of his fans. The majority of his fans don't do anything. The majority of his fans are just like they like hip hop. They think he's a great musician. But the most extreme ones, on a picture of
Man, Andrew Schultz is sounding like a Democrat. Like he sounds like a Democrat that fucked up, offended folks, and folks are getting back at him, and now he's threatened by all the heat that he's getting. Man, Andrew Schultz, if you don't shut the hell up talking about black people, just shut the hell up talking about black people. If you gonna talk about black people in your so-called pseudo comedy, right? You better have it coming from an experiential standpoint, meaning something that you and Charlemagne or you and some other black person, you better have names on the stuff that you're saying about black people, right? You can't be out here just spouting stereotypes about folks and confusing people thinking that that's comedy, right? Because what he said about black women that really started this whole thing, that was not comedy. They were having a conversation about, I guess, interracially dating, right? These guys admitted that they've dated black women and that their perception of black women was that black women improved their lives, right? And apparently these guys weren't dating the stereotypical point of black women because they didn't go in with, oh, they'll check you, abuse, or anything like that. These guys on Shits and Giggles were like, they're going to up your game. They're going to Erykah Badu you, right? They're going to put that P power on you. And the next thing you know, the black woman is going to have you dressed in all kinds of ways, style in different ways, because the P power is that strong, right? Andrew Schultz couldn't take these guys giving black women some level of props. I feel like that's what it was. He had to get in there and say something negative, make black women seem like we're abusive universally, right? And I just want to know, how many black women is he speaking from experience? Has he ever been with a black woman? We know that he's not with a black woman right now, and that his wife nor his child are black. So again, real comics speak from experience. Some of you people, you are desensitized by what good music is. You're desensitized by what good comedy is because they have these people, these payola people, who are just propping all of these faces at you and making them seem like they're popular when they're just a big bag of garbage. And it's like, we need to learn from Drake's lawsuit. If anything we learn is that these industry machines can prop and over elevate whom they want to. And that's really the validation, if anything, that Aubrey Graham gave to us. So shout out to Drake for being snaked over, but at least validating the truth that many people have suspected, that people like him are artificially propped. They have a machine behind them, and a lot of times they're working, in line with an agenda, right? And that's just what it is. Because even with Drake, even when he jumped into getting into the hip hop game and immersing in black culture, the first thing that Drake wanted to do was highlight the negative aspects about black culture as much as he possibly could. And even when he was getting himself into that blackifying himself, right, he was going to the negative aspects of it because that's what he was paid to do. But anyways, as you said, I used to be interesting. Well, if I'm not interesting anymore, go ahead and unsubscribe and get off my channel. Ain't nobody begging for you to be here. But I'm never going to say what you want to hear. And see, the problem is y'all used to people saying the truth bombs about black people. But when it comes to the truth bombs about white folks and some of them types of folks, y'all can't stand it. So go ahead and get off my page if these types of truth bombs. Y'all always want us talking about Negroes, black people, right? But the minute we start talking about somebody else, it just hurts your little feelings. And you don't really want the truth then. You want selective truth. You want somebody telling you and saying what you want to hear, and that's not how it works over here. It's never worked like that over here. So bye, Marcel. See ya, Marcel Laporte. This is where we say goodbye. Get your ass on. We don't expect to see another comment from your ass because you don't belong over here anymore. All right? But thank you, Ghetto Planner, for that. Like, and if we hear from Marcel again, obviously he's somebody who can't let go. Child, don't let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you. All right? Anyways, you guys, let me know what you guys think about this. My issue is that these people keep saying shit about black people. And then when we get back, clap back, now all of a sudden they want to play a victim. And the overarching theme here is stop talking about black people. Stop putting your stereotypes. Stop perpetuating stereotypes about black people. Stop talking about black people universally. Stop disrespecting our men. Stop disrespecting our women. It is really that simple. If you've had a funny experience with a black person and it was kind of a divine comedy in life, that would be comedy. But spewing stereotypes, obnoxious stereotypes about people, just saying shit, that's not comedy. Andrew Schultz is not comedy. And he's getting exactly what he deserves for being a person that was just saying shit. That wasn't calculated. Because to Cat Williams' point, real comics, real artists are calculated. They are calculated. They don't go around just saying shit just to be saying shit. So some of y'all don't know what a real comic was, and I would invite you guys to look at Brother Cat Williams. In terms of modern comics, Cat Williams is a good comic. He's a calculated comic. He's a calculated person, right? He's somebody you can't really emulate. He's original, right? He don't run around just saying shit. He has intent. And that's the same way with any other artist, right? There's an intent. There's an experiential core to what they do. Andrew Schultz doesn't speak from experience. He speaks from stereotypes and projections. Therefore, he's obnoxious and he's not a comic. And again, go back to that conversation that Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle had. And you will understand why people like Andrew Schultz are not comedians. They're not. They're not. He's probably some kind of shill, some control opposition, if anything. Because I see a number of the conservatives, Andrew Schultz said this, and I'm like, why the hell do y'all care about what that guy says? Goofy as hell. These people prop all kinds of people. All right. His Indian co-host was told by Andrew to his face that India would have been a land of savages without British colonization. And the Indian co-host had to sit back and take that. Did he push back on him at all? Probably not, because he's not paid to. Charlemagne's paid. It seems like Charlemagne's there just to prove he's not racist, right? Everybody I'm telling you, go look back at, that little podcast that he did when he was talking and saying that stuff about Kendrick, the Indian dude, black dude, they getting they tokens, white dudes, like, I don't know, the white dude is the only one in the middle talking about, man, I can't, I'm not going to laugh at this. I can't push back because I'm not paid to push back. Right, but I'm not going to just be sitting up here going to town laughing like this neat growth and this Indian dude. No. The Indian guy gave him real stats and history, but Andrew reverted to stereotyping India because, again, Andrew Schultz is not a comedian. He is a person that just spews stereotypes about people and group perpetuated stereotypes about people in groups so that obnoxious people can feel better about themselves. And then they'll say, oh, you guys are just being sensitive. You're just being victims. Well, who's playing the victim right now? Andrew Schultz. Andrew Schultz is the one playing the victim right now. Because he literally had his mouth write a check that his ass can't pay, and now he's playing the victim. So what is your theory? Is it a theory about these racist bigot people and them wanting to MK Ultra everybody into keeping racism alive by putting people like Andrew Schultz on the mic to appeal to the obnoxious folks that just want to say ignorant things, but they don't have the balls to do it? Andrew is not loved by black comedian. Look up his interactions with Eddie Murphy and Dave Chappelle, because these are comedians who came up from the trenches. They understand what a punchline of a joke is. They even know how to make cultural jokes about people, right? That's the difference between an Eddie Murphy, even a George Carlin, and a Richard Pryor. These guys had experiential jokes, right? George Carlin wasn't just saying shit about black people. He had stories about black people that was kind of funny. And so when you really listen to George Carlin, some of the stuff that he was saying, it was kind of like, that's true, that's funny, I get that, if he experienced that, right? Andrew Schultz is just saying shit in the guise of comedy, and a lot of the shit that he's saying is ignorant. The election gave him more traction, so now he has a bunch of right-wing supporters. Absolutely. And see, what the thing is, right-wingers are easy. They're really easy. All you got to do is say the same shit that they want to hear. They're really no different than Democrats. You have to be on their echo chamber of thought. They're always quick to tell somebody to think for themselves, and yet they're sitting up there on a bandwagon of ignorance and a lemming to an ideology or thought just as much as some of these Democrat folks. And so I noticed that the right wingers were, Andrew Schultz said this, Andrew Schultz said that. And I'm like, why do we even care what Andrew Schultz is saying? Who is this guy that we care? And I'm looking like, and I looked at some of his stuff and I'm like, y'all geeking over this obnoxious, ignorant idiot. The God, faith, and family people, they are geeking over this ignorant ass person. Christ is not some of these people's king. Christ is not some of these people kings because they're that dumb. They're that ignorant. Christ is not your king. And if it is, I don't know which Christ you were referring to, but it's not Yahusha. It's not Yahusha. They will defend free. Yeah, see, the right wing, here's the thing. The middle between the Democrats' idea of free speech and the right wing, to me, is that, like, the right wing, they're all about, free speech as long as it's free speech that favors their traditional idealism, right? And it's the same way with the Democrat. Free speech is okay if it's on the bandwagon of our radical idealism, right? Anybody that deviates in the right wing, they're like, you should be able to say whatever you want to say to people. People are too sensitive. It's too sensitive. So from the right wing perspective, free speech means that you don't have to season your words with anything. You can just say whatever you want to say, because you have a free speech to do so, and you don't have to be conscious. You don't have to be scrupulous, right? These are the God, faith, and family folks, right? And you're not allowed to call them out, right? Because this is their thing. They want you on their bandwagon. And when you're not on their bandwagon, the first thing they do is, I thought you were this. No, I've been consistent the whole damn time. Just because I touched on a point that you might have agreed with don't mean that I'm sitting up here on your whole bandwagon of ignorance. And that's what they want. And that's the thing. Yes, they're all victims at the end of the day. Everybody's playing a victim of something, of somebody. Everybody, and a lot of these people, like, you hear right-wing people talk about Democrats and censorship, and they'll turn around and do the same damn thing. I mean, and again, you're talking about double talking demons. You're talking about two side, bipartisan, the pendulum swinging. Somebody is swinging the pendulum, right? These are the same animals on the same coin, same coin, different head of animal on each side. But they're operating with the same level of ideas. They really are. I think people are starting to wake up and wake of Kendrick and Drake. Kendrick was the spook why say by the door. Drake, being the government, used his own tactics against him. Who knows what's going on, Truth Hunter? I see you. I see you. Who knows? I mean, I definitely felt like Drake was an op. I definitely felt like Drake was an op. He was an op. He was a face and he was an op. There was a couple of purposes for Drake. And I do personally believe that they were probably propping Drake to be the next Diddy. And why is it that all these people are tied up with pedophilia in some kind of way? And why is it that YouTube is censoring these words? Is it too sensitive to your executives or something, YouTube? I don't understand. These are usual suspect words. Pedophile, sexual assault. I don't understand why these words are being censored and why people are feeling like they can't say these words. Is it just too much for the demons who are facilitating those crimes against humanity to hear them being labeled by other people? Never forget that the liberal universities tried to soften the term pedophile, right? What did they want to call these people? MAPS, minor attracted people. They didn't want us calling them pedophiles, disgusting, deviant people. They said that that's harmful. Why are we creating nice words for harmful people? Right? It's harmful to call them pedophiles, to call them minor attracted people. That's nicer, right? Don't say midget, say little person, right? These people are weird. They're changing everything. I can give the midget thing. The minor attracted people, no, they're pedophiles, and they will be pedophiles until society ends. That's what they are. And there's no room in civil society for them. But they are some of the most protected people in society. Just ask Sean Diddy Combs. I wish we could see an interview. And the one thing I want the interviewer to ask Puffy, are pedophiles the most protected people in American society? And I bet you he'll say yes. Because the faces and the positions of these pedophiles, they're very high, elite, esteemed, so-called esteemed people, but they're running around with children that we think may be a grandkid or a niece, and really it's their company, their pet. Corey Holcomb say country get breeding pads. Who knows? Who knows? But we've been seeing all this stuff, for years and decades. I think that we live in the age of social media now. So it's harder for these elite people to contain information the way that they used to. That's why I'm waiting for somebody to leak some Jeffrey Epstein stuff, right? I think that they got the internet on high alert for any Jeffrey Epstein leaks. I think that's what they're like, probably paranoid Android. They need us really distracted with Diddy so that any leaks that come out, think about it. Why is it that we're getting all these leaks about Diddy and we've gotten 0 leaks about Jeffrey Epstein? 0 leaks about Epstein. I'm like, Dr. Umar, isn't that suspicious? Isn't that suspicious, right? I got Dr. Umar Johnson's head in my voice in my head right now when it comes to that Epstein stuff. Don't you find that suspicious? Don't you find that suspicious? We getting all these leaks, all these people coming out singing like a canary, right? But nobody is really coming out about Epstein. Everybody's keeping under wraps. They are suppressing anybody that's coming out on blogs about Epstein because they know there are a lot of high profile names attached to that deviant. May he burn in hell and all of his accomplices in the future. And if they don't burn in hell, hopefully they burn on Judgment Day. Like I said, I fantasize about these people burning to death at God's judgment because his fire and fury is worse. Like, hopefully they'll be able to burn for like maybe 7 hours before they actually die. And they feel all of it. But high level people are sick. Some high level people are very, very sick. And that's, have you ever watched They Clone Tyrone? I did see They Clone Tyrone. That was really interesting too. And because you think about some of these people that they start pulling out, like some people said Jamie Foxx is a clone. Like, and the timing of that movie was very interesting. It's an interesting concept though. I would believe that, some of these people walking around, maybe Joe Biden is a clone. Y'all think Joe Biden is a clone? He just seems kind of dummy-ish. For the whole entire term, he was just like a dummy. So maybe our president is a clone, an AI clone. When you say the dominoes haven't fallen that direction, you mean it went in regards to cloning? Because they've been cloning sheep for a while now. I remember when they cloned Dolly the sheep. He's missing his tattoo. Yeah, I saw a picture comparing Biden and some other person, and they were showing like on one arm he had like no tattoo, and then on the other one he had a tattoo, and they're saying that Biden has a body double. But you hear people talk about these clones of some of these high level profile people all the time, where they have to make an appearance somewhere, and some people claim like, okay, I wonder is that his body double or his clone, right? And then, you have like these masks now that, obviously technology where you're looking at a person, you think you're talking to somebody and you're talking to a face mask, So I think all of this stuff is possible. Cloning is expensive, look-alike and actors. Yeah, I would believe that as opposed to them being able to effectively just clone something sustainable, it'd be easier just to put somebody under plastic surgery and make them look like somebody. What they said, why are they exposing Tyler Perry? I don't even want to talk about Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry looked like he might have sold his soul. It's about wearing a dress, right? When they start putting these men in dresses, it's like, I think for Hollywood elites, the man in the dress is the humiliation ritual. They make these people go through humiliation rituals. We think it's comedy, but when we saw Kevin Hart break out with a purple dress on, right? Did y'all see Kevin Hart? This is like years ago, right? Kevin Hart had on that purple dress after Kevin Hart specifically said that he would never wear dresses, right? Right? They broke him out. And that, to me, that is a mean of a public buck breaking humiliation ritual where they have to emasculate these guys. You go back to Dave Chappelle. And these people, how he's like, the producer begged him. He's like, come on, Dave, wear the dress, wear the dress. All the greats wear the dress. He's on the Oprah show telling Oprah about, these people wanting him to wear a dress, right? Let me see if I can get that interview. Yeah. He talks about these people insisting that they can buck break him by putting a dress on him. What you say, Dave? And this is a sickness in these people. They live to buck break black men. Any way that they can emasculate black men because they truly are threatened by black men. They don't like the masculinity of black men.
There is to a degree. Like when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress, at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them and down like, wow, these brothers gotta wear a dress. That's happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer.
And look at Oprah, like, yeah, because Oprah know what Dave talking about. Oprah been at them Diddy parties. Oprah know, but of course she got to act like, very nonchalant.
I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. They come in.
And Oprah's like,
the writer comes in. I think he's the writer. He's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a prostitute. And he put this dress on. And, what? The prostitute? No, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're right. So why don't we just not do it? Because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress. Oh, come on, Dave. Listen, we got it all set up. We're supposed to shoot. Every minute you waste costs this much money. The pressure comes in. He said, I'm not wearing no dress, man. I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say. I don't need to wear no dress to be funny. What am I, Milton Berle? We're going like this. And then finally he's like, and he leaves. And then like the director comes, Dave, it really would be great if you wear the dress. What is wrong? What is this, Brokeback Mountain in here? So
yeah, they're trying to butt break them. See, Dave understood what it was, all right? Dave understood what it was. They were trying to buck break him. How much did you want for this? And they talk about how much they done invested in this scene with this man in a dress. And he's like, no, right? Dave Chappelle is a real man, right? He didn't want to be buck broken by those people by putting on the old ritualistic dress, right? But we can tell which one of our brothers in the Hollywood circle, unfortunately, have been, buck broken because unfortunately they have put on the dress. You said, I do read my comments. Did you just come in, Sandy Blake? What are you talking about? What am I? Hold on. Let me go back to my comments because I'm seeing some stuff pop up. I'm like, is this old? Because I've been reading comments and everything. These people out here saying shit, exaggerating. What are we talking about? Out here saying shit, exaggerating. What are we talking about? Hang on. Okay, this one. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the old thing. So it's like, sorry about that. You said I might agree. If Tyler Perry only did one of those movies, you can't convince me that he doesn't like doing it. Has Tyler Perry come out as being just a full-blown, like, saucy man? I mean, he might as well, like, because nobody would believe that he's straight. I think that's a mental problem. I think maybe that character Medea, maybe that could be a reflection of somebody who might have turned him out or something. I don't know. But he loves wearing dresses. It's kind of weird. You know what I mean? They made Martin wear a dress a couple of times. Who else did they made a couple of them. Didn't Terry Crews wear a dress too? Right? I mean, they just got these brothers just wearing dresses, right? And John Cena? They even got the white guys wearing the dresses, right? So it's not just a black man thing. They buck breaking some of these white dudes in Hollywood, making them put on a dress. Because then John Cena put on a dress too. Eddie Murphy, yeah. Let's see. People keep going to see it, so it keeps making it, I guess. It aims to, I don't know what they're talking about. It's a strategy learned by making a empty cutter. I don't know what you're talking about, but because they won't be sexualized when still maturing at a quality pace. It all aims. Oh, I'm not sure what you guys are talking about. You might be on a. John Cena was made to give the Oscar announcement naked. Yeah, public shaming. These people, they love shaming men. Like, this is what they do. They want to see men, like, just vulnerable. You said you should watch the anthology episodes of FX Atlanta. They break down what you're talking about, especially the episode on Tyler Perry. I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna check it out. I hear Atlanta is the mecca for all of this, a lot of this deviancy, especially black deviancy. That is definitely the place to kind of turn your black son out. So, I mean, no, big ups to all the straight men in Atlanta. We love you. We love you. We bless you for, not being manipulated at a young age to not be a man, right? And we would pray for all those other folks. We would pray for all them other folks. Um, we gotta, yeah, yeah. I think if you have a son, don't let him go to Atlanta, because you may, come back with a son-in-law that is dressed like a woman who says that it's your daughter-in-law. So keep your sons from Atlanta as much as you can. I agree with you, Arks. I definitely agree with you. But I feel like we live in a culture where they're making men hate their natural selves in so many degrees. You have these so-called, like, I was looking at this thing where you got this so-called alpha male, right? They're skewing what the alpha male is, right? It's a quote alpha male in love with a trans woman, right? That's not an alpha male. That is not an alpha male. People think that going to the gym and working out, being, this idea of a chauvinistic man is alpha. That's not what an alpha man is. Alpha men are very wise. You think about a lion when you think about an alpha, and people attribute lions to wisdom, right? And so real alpha men, they have wisdom. They have control. They have the fruitages of the spirit. They're not some dude running around, I'm ripped, roided up, and that's not what an alpha dude is at all. It's not. That's a beta male. That's a beta male with money. That's a beta male with money. What's going on, Wisconsin? I see you. I see you, Waukesha. Let's see. He just came on the live. It'll like interesting topic. I hope all is well. Oh, I'm not sure. Leos are Sigmas. Leos are Sigmas. No, I'm not talking about Leo like the zodiac sign. I'm talking about just sort of the personification of the spirit of a lion. It's usually wisdom attached to it, fears, courage, right? A lot of these dudes aren't any of that. They're just beta men with money who go to the gym and think that they're that guy. And then a lot of them got tiny nail beds, right? So they have to have big muscles because their penis is small, you know? So true. They aren't many alphas out there. Not a lot of alpha men out there. Not at all. Anxiety's opposite is the comfortable that allows. I'm not sure we're going to love what you're doing. Keep it up. What's going on? I see you. But I think that we got to look at each other, from a real psychological standpoint. And I think my channel, I'm not over here, like I said, encouraging people to be on any bandwagon of ignorance. Think about things rationally, practically, from a real human experience, right? And to me, if we want to have a functional society, that society must be conscious, right? And I'm not saying that we can't crack jokes, to the point of this original blog. I'm not saying that we can't crack jokes on each other. There should just be some experiential things there, right? So, if you're talking about people from another culture, right? I'm not just going to just talk about, let's just say, the Jews in generally, right? I'm going to say something like, if it's some of them I see an observation with, or just some specifically that I've dealt with, right? I'm going to say something like that, right? And this is where comedy come in. If I'm going to make a joke about Jews, right? I'm going to make a joke about a Jew that I've actually exchanged with, that I've actually had an interchange with, that was either funny to life experience or something, right? So that when I spit this joke, right, people can say, oh, that was anti Semitic. You can't say that people's experiences are anti or racist anything. And the thing is, with Andrew Schultz is he's not speaking from anything real experiential. He's speaking from stereotypes, and that's what makes him not funny to me, right? And again, free speech does not mean that you can just say whatever you want to say without any consequences, because there's a scrupulous way to talk and then there's a reckless way to talk. And some people think that free speech means that I can be reckless without consequences, and that's just not true. Look at that chick, the liberal salon owner, right? This liberal salon owner, right? She exercised her free speech to say whatever the F she wanted to say about Trump supporters. And now she's crying about, her clients, her clients are dropping like flies, right? She takes accountability for what she said. She made this video, right? And now she's losing customers, right? Because people think you could just say whatever you want to say, right? Without any type of scruples, right? At all. This is what a lot of people think. And unfortunately, again, their mouths are writing checks that their ass can't pay.
Idaho beauty salon are dropping like flies after
as I posted this.
So she posted it. Hang on.
Posted
follow-up video.
Here we go.
If I lose my business because I posted this.
If my friends lose rights and you celebrate that or are even okay with it, you are no friend of mine. Okay? Well, at least our white, racist, homophobic, misogynistic, immigrant hating community passed our school levy. That's something, I guess.
And this.
And then she wrote, oh, I see all of you pretending to be decent human beings and then proudly voting against human rights. Life is very weird now. You have to be careful who you trust and allow around you.
And this. And I made a video that said, if you support a racist, misogynist, homophobic, rapist, and you're okay with it, then you are those things. I guess I lose my business.
So basically, she took a stab at Trump supporters, and basically she is now applying to Chipotle to supplement her income because she's dropping clients like flies. So I am a champion for free speech all day long. I champion free speech. I think that people should be able to speak what they feel. I think that people should be able to express their opinions, especially, about things that impact them personally or that have impacted them personally. But I do believe that people need to have scruples. I do believe that people need to understand that your words need to be. I do believe that people need to understand that your words need to be. There we go. I wanted to get the chat back on my screen. But I do believe that people need to practice having words that are seasoned with salt, and you can't just keep disguising things as comedy or art. When it's blatantly just racist and coming from a core place of racism at the core of what people are saying. If you were sitting up there running around talking about stereotypic things about people and groups or whatever, that's not comedy. And I stand by that. You said you got a stud pregnant and you need help. That's your own damn fault. Can't nobody help you with that. You said speech is only free on paper. Yeah. So, heard you at the top of the stairs. You said, tell the stud to meet you at the top of the stairs. I would not co-sign that. Have her marry her. Have her. I didn't know studs actually got down like that. Probably the androgynous guys depolarizing the females. It's a lot of these androgynous guys out there, and some of them are looking even better than some females. I mean, you think about, we're in the age of surgery, where a lot of these, people, they look believable, many of them. Like, there's this conservative blogger, Blair White, I think it was. Blair White is a conservative commentator, right? And, that is a believable looking person, right? That is a believable looking person, yet that's not a natural biological female. But they're believable looking. They are believable looking. Like, honestly, some of these, girly boys that have turned into the girls, like they definitely are looking like the girls these days. Probably better than a lot of broads, because obviously they're getting their face contoured in a way that a lot of natural born women are not contoured. So it's interesting, to say the least. We live in a very interesting world, to say the least. But I'm about to get off of here, guys. I've been on here, dang, an hour and a half. I didn't even realize it. But thanks, chat, for chiming in. Thank you, Blue Butterflies. I love patterns. I'm a pattern person. I used to be like, my wardrobe used to be just black, everything. I needed to get out of the black mode, and so now I've evolved my wardrobe into things more colorful, and I do feel a lot more artistic when I'm in my patterns. So thank you, Blue Butterfly. Thank you so much for that. With girls having a value bubble, guys need to make their own chicks. Yeah, how do you make your own chick? You got, what is it, stepper wife, mail-in order bride from Vietnam, and just mold the person with fear? Have a good night. I'm out of here. You have 3 baby moms. You have 3 baby mamas. Well, hey, as long as you're taking care of all of them, you just do your thing. You know what I mean? Do your thing. Like, somebody was mentioning Future and all them, and Nick Cannon and all them kids. I'm like, I don't care if Future and Nick Cannon have 1,000 kids, as long as all the kids are being taken care of. As long as they're being taken care of, I cannot just get down on these brothers because they're doing what the good Lord told them to do, which is fill the earth and subdue it and create offspring. The only thing we ask for these brothers to do is just make sure that you're taking care of all of your offspring. You can have as many of them as you want to. Just take care of them and make sure that they're not in poverty somewhere. All right? And you said, and each one of your baby mamas are paid. See, you said, I'm royal from Afghan. Okay, so you're royalty from Afghanistan, and you got 3 baby mamas, right? There you go, right? As long as you're taking care of, you said $600K each. Dang. Can I be your baby mama? Anyways, you guys, have a wonderful work week. We're on Sunday, and I will catch you on the next one. And just to let y'all know, our boy Arx is a royalty from Afghanistan. He got 3 baby mamas. They get $600K a piece, right? You said you were born in Texas. You said it's complicated. Okay, you were born in Texas, but you're Afghani, 3 baby mamas, right? And they both get $600K a piece. How often do they got to deal with you? I'm just kind of wondering. Do you have a favorite baby mama? Is there one baby mama that just kind of have her piece and she can do whatever she want to do? How often do they have to see you to get that $600K? Just curious. You were born in Texas. Okay. Yeah, you say you're done. Okay. All right. You keep it professional. Okay. Great. Great. Your mom deals with them. Oh, all right. I get it. I get it. So they're dealing with your mama. Okay. She keeps them in line. Okay, that's insane. That's insane. Well, if I'm ever on the market for another baby daddy, I could be a sensible baby mama for you, even though I don't want to have any more kids. I'm really hoping that I never, if I meet somebody and he wants to have a kid, fine, but there has to be stipulations like I need to have 600K allowance, like my friend in my chat. I will have your baby, but I need that 600K allowance. That's a stipulation for me. Like that's the only way that I'm popping another kid out of my body is if he makes sure that that 600K is on the table, ready and available for me, and that I truly have the option not to work. If I gotta work, I ain't having no kids for you. I already gave my contribution to the world, so I don't need to have no more kids. So I'll be selfish in that regard. But if you're talking about 600K to be your baby mama, and all I got to do is just give you a seed, give you a legacy, I'll consider it. I'll consider it. You said you're Russian? Oh, what's up, Privet? Man, you all over the place. You Afghan, you Russian. Do you got identity dude, you everything. You everything. You like the Apostle Paul. What do you becoming all things to all people so that you can get the word of God out? Every Pharaoh since Toot in my line. Okay, we got you. So we got some royalty in the chat. What's up? What's up? That's what's up. You said no drama. You said your mama is crazy. Who's crazy? Your mom or the girl? The women? They wanted the primo of every warring race. Oh. Well, Arx is giving us, a little idea of, that makes zero sense. He's just saying stuff. He said he's Russian, he's Afghanistan, he has every tut pharaoh. This dude he got delusions of grandeur here. I'm just letting people say shit just to see what kind of shit people be saying. Not the white or Argentina baby mama. Oh, okay, I got you. You got an Italian one. You got a baby mama from Argentina. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, he's trying to be like King Solomon. He got babies mamas from all over the world. He's like that Lil Wayne song. I just want every girl in the world. Is that your theme song? Right? Anyways, you guys, thanks, Arx. That was a very, very entertaining dialogue. Very, very entertaining dialogue. We don't know what you is, but we kind of think we do. Russian, Afghanistan, and among other things. We'll just say that you're the globe. You're the globe. You said you almost blocked him because you wanted to see where he was going. Man, I was just letting him say, I'm the same way, Ghetto Plan. I'm like, let me see where we're going here because I don't know now. Like he said he's Afghan, then he said he's Russian. So I said Privet, right? And he's from Texas. And you said Nordic German too. Okay. So what do you just got your ancestry DNA results out and you just reading off all the percentages of things that you are? I'm going to have to let you go. You guys have a wonderful day. Love your neighbor as yourself. If you would not disrespect or abuse yourself, do not disrespect or abuse your neighbor. Bye. Arx, we will get into your anthropology and your ancestry later, my friend. You spouting off every nation here, every single nation.